So if you can believe this, I go to the White Settlement. United States Post Office. And they claim they do not have an address change form in paper. And they want me to pay them $1. So today is an absolutely absurd day. It's 178,500 miles on the speedometer. It's 88 degrees Fahrenheit. It's June 2nd, 2023. I have never heard of anything so absurd in my life. I am Jonathan Cole Spivey. I'm an actor for the Please Subscribe show. That's moi. And now I'm looking for a post office to do an address change form. I've never come across anything so ridiculous in my entire life since I've been on this planet, on the planet Earth. And the post office threatened to call the police on me. So I had to leave because I didn't believe them. Yeah, I was like, giving me the address change form. I did not believe them. I to this day, I don't believe them. It doesn't make any sense to me. So we're going to go to this other postal place, United States Post Office, if we can find it. It's on this road, which is called Cherry Lane. And the two that the White Settlement one was named Juan and some Korean chick. And Juan brought out his phone immediately. Just me, I'm calling the police. I was like, what are you talking about? You know, what are you? It's like the evasion of the body snatchers. You know, it's like, what are you talking about? You know, you go to Jason's Deli and they want to call the police on you. You know, call the police. You know, every day, all day long. That's why we don't need them. These people stop bullying people. Now they have to scan the ID, as in your whatever ID you have. Look at this idiot, dude. Look at this idiot. A big old hero. I'll take them down too. Absolutely absurd. This building is dedicated to public service, 1987. Ronald Reagan, President of the United States, also an actor. President R. Tisch, Postmaster General. Pretty cool. Yeah, White Settlement has a major noise problem because of the naval base. That naval base, which used to be an Air Force base, needs to be moved to an island. They need to move that whole naval base to an island that's away from the public. They are going to be drawn into court and sued for millions of dollars on noise complaints, and they can sue the government for waking them up, flying real low over post offices, flying over certain people that they're afraid of. Listen, they're afraid of me. Trust me. They shake in their boots. I've met one of the pilots. They fear me. They fear people like me, and they fear you too. They're moving that naval base. Trust me. Because I'm leaving this place and I'm going to Hollywood. By the time I come back to see my dad in his funeral, that whole Navy base will be gone. Goodbye. You old bad loser. All right, so we found ourselves some Murphy's. I'm gonna go check how much the soda is, and the gas is right now is only $2.99. So see if I can show it to you. So their soda machine looks a little different at Murphy USA, but I'm gonna see if they have Coke Zero. They do. This is kind of how they have their setup. It's just kind of like laid out like a thrift store kind of thing. And there's their mayonnaise and some stuff like this, and chips and stuff. I've never seen anything like it, but anyway, they do have the regular stuff over that way. Just kind of laying out there, I guess, for sales purposes. They do have cold beer that they advertise. Of course, I don't drink beer, but they advertise it at the front right next to the lotto ticket. All right, so she attempted to charge me $2 and something for the refill. And I said, well, how much do you charge for the refill? She said $1.07. I said, well, why are you charging me more? And her name is Nicole, and I'm reporting her right now. So she wanted to charge me $2 and something for a refill. She says, usually we blah, blah, blah. So I'm reporting her. Let's look at 15 maybe. Hollywood could buy that Navy base in one day. One actor could. That's how powerful actors are. They could buy that plane with the money they have in their wallet, just like that, and buy that pilot and send that pilot to the Ukraine if they wanted to. They have that much power. A movie star has more power than the President of the United States. Well, I changed the filter out. It's working way better now. These things last a long time. I gotta go through my mail here in a minute. So it's working pretty good now. I got all these cat toys I gotta worry about right here. So if you haven't noticed, today's my day off. It is June 2nd, 2023. And I had to do some important stuff at the post office because they changed my mailing address or some kind of craziness. So the first white settlement, United States Postal Office, or the USPS, they did not have an address change form. I went down the road to Cherry, and the Cherry Street had one. This is Adam the Woo talking about water. Aquafina. Adam's on a diet. I'm on a diet, so we're kind of competing. And I'm not going to be weighing in today. So tomorrow we're going to start back on the shift. I'll go on my 5.5 hike. I'll cut back on my water because I'll drink water before I go. But I want to get most of the water weight off of me before I make the actual weigh-in. So last night I had a Taco Bell burrito. Today I will not. and we will be going on the 5.5. I'll be weighing in, and I'll be marking it, and I'll show you where. I did this at the mansions at Sunset. I also did this at Cleanest Ranch in Irving. I lost 50 pounds in Irving and weighed in at 170. This is where I'll be keeping my goal for weight. So we'll be marking June 3rd, 2023. Today's June 2nd. I'm just kind of telling you tomorrow will be June 3rd, 2023. And then I'll show the weight right here. Okay. And I'll hopefully by the time I get down to about here, because I'm going to weigh in weekly. So it'll be every week. Or just sometimes I weigh in monthly, sometimes weekly. I might just weigh in monthly. But I'll weigh in weekly and maybe put parentheses if it fluctuates or something. But basically, this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I think we'll probably do maybe monthly. I don't remember what the other one said. So I think it had it on the first of the month each time. But regardless, if we start here in June, we'll have June, July, August, September. I'm hoping for 170. If not by September, then we'll have October, November, then December, 170. Okay, December of 2023. So by the time we bring in the year of 2024, I want to be at 170 pounds. So that's my goal right here. I'm gonna mark it tomorrow and finish up what I'm doing. Today I did a little bit of vacuuming today and some other stuff. So for entertainment, because I watch Adam just for information, not for entertainment. For entertainment, I'll be doing this right here, which is known as Alien. Can't really see it right there. There we go. This is the Ridley Scott one. Okay. The more light that goes in it, the more glare. So, but it's the Ridley Scott version, THX. So we'll be watching Alien and doing probably a review on it. So it's a pretty good one. All right. Watch out. This was on my, watch out. So we'll be watching Aliens, a 1979 science fiction horror film. It is directed by Ridley Scott, which is really interesting because he made a film with his younger brother, Tony Scott, about a bicycle when he was younger. And Tony Scott is the one who directed The Last Boy Scout and other films kind of like that. Tony Scott's films were kind of more playful, and Ridley Scott's were more serious and sci-fi. So Alien is based on an O'Bannon Ronald Shawcett story. It follows the crew of a commercial space tug, Nostromo, who, after coming across a mysterious derelict spaceship on an uncharted planetoid, they find themselves up against an aggressive and deadly extraterrestrial set loose on the Nostromo. The film stars Tom Skerritt, Sigourney Weaver, Veronica Cartwright, Harry Dean Stanton, John Hurt, Ian Holm, and Yaphet Kotto. It was produced by Gordon Carroll, Dave Galler, and Walter Hill through their company, Brandywine Productions. And it has a cat in it. And the cat's name is Jonesy. Now, Giler and Hill revised and made additions to the script, and Shawcett was the executive producer, but Alien is accompanying artifacts were designed by the Swiss artist H.R. Geiger. Now I'm going to show you some of his art right here. I can pull it up right here. That's Geiger right there. Hans Geiger is his name. Let's see if they show any art on Wikipedia. They do. So here is the birth machine. That's what that's called. Sorry. And this is the entrance to Geiger Bar and Char. I saw something pull up that looked like a racer head for a second. Did you see that? It pulled up and it was basically, it landed on something that looked like a racer head. I saw it for just a second. I don't know if I filmed it, but it pulled up and it slid down right here. It showed the cover of a racer head. It's very strange. Here's more H.R. Geiger's work, who they included his work in it mentions David Lynch's Dune. Geiger worked with Lynch on Dune. And right here first, before he worked with Ridley Scott. There's Alien right there. It's just going over some stuff with Geiger. And that's the film Alien. I'm getting an offer right now. Just give me a second. That is Ridley Scott. He's British. BAFTA Fellowship gave him a Lifetime Achievement Award, the British Academy of Films and Television Arts, 2018. He was knighted by Queen Elizabeth II for the service in the British film industry. He was introduced to the Science Fiction Hall of Fame in 2007, and he did receive a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 2011. And I think that costs like $40,000 or $50,000 just for the star. A little bit about Ridley Scott. He was born on November 30th of 1937 in South Shields, County Durham, to Elizabeth and Colonel Francis Piercy Scott. His granduncle Dixon Scott was a pioneer of the cinnamon chain. So he was right there among family and cinema, which is interesting because a lot of successful filmmakers are among family. They call it two different things with filmmakers. You have a clean slate filmmaker or director, and that's one that comes pretty much from no connections to Hollywood. It's called a clean slate director. Ridley Scott actually had connections with the cinema within his family. So he wasn't particularly clean slate. There are many directors that aren't, but not always. You do have clean slate directors. Those are directors that just kind of come out of nowhere, left field. So Ridley Scott was nominated for 3 Academy Awards for directing. He did receive for Thelma and Louise, Gladiator, and Black Hawk Down. I don't think he received anything for Alien personally for directing, but I thought he deserved it. He did get nominated for The Martian. In 1995, Ridley Scott and his brother Tony both received British Academy Film Awards for Outstanding British Contribution to Cinema. And in 2004, the BBC poll, Scott was ranked the 10 on the list of the most influential people in British culture. So he was actually listed as pretty much like a celebrity for influential people in British culture. So Scott was born in 30th November, like I said, 37 in South Shields. His elder brother Frank joined the Merchant Navy when he was still young, and the pair had little contact. And during his time, the family moved around, and they lived in Cumberland as well as other areas in England, in addition to Wales and Germany. After the war, Scott family, they moved back to country Durham and eventually settled on Teesside. So when they settled in there, they were basically in the county of Durham. His interest in science fiction began by reading H.G. Wells as a child. There were three major influences to him. One film, sci-fi film called It, The Terror from Beyond Space, The Day the Earth Stood Still, and a film called Them. He said that these films were kind of got him going a little bit, but his attention was not fully caught until he saw Stanley Kubrick's 2001 Space Odyssey, which this has a resemblance to. So we're going to throw it in. There's a little bit about Ridley Scott and his family, and he's a British director. He also did Blade Runner, which I highly recommend Blade Runner as well. The sequel to this, which is Aliens with an S, was done by James Cameron, which is also a good one, which we might review and may not, I don't know. We'll go ahead and watch it.
PSS 1693.
That's a good one.
It's all right, Jonesy.
The trick to Alien is very simple. This is a segment where the miners are on the new planet, and the planet was never really supposed to be there. They came across it. Now, it's shown here in video, looking through one of the miners' helmets, very similar to Aliens, the sequel with James Cameron. And we're seeing the alien spaceship through video as opposed to film, which makes it more real. Now I'm going to show you. It'll switch over to basically the color code of the film from the video. So we're in video right here. And then there's the film. So that's the color code for the film. And it goes back and forth for a little bit. Now, not as much as James Cameron's, because James Cameron, he uses it quite a bit. This is only in the beginning segment. And that guy plays the android right there. I just wanted to make a note about that. Now, this is the first time we see the alien mothership, if you want to call it what you will. This is H. Geiger's design, and we're seeing it in the color code of the cinematic masterpiece. The video showed it earlier. See the difference? It's more like a painting. So now we're seeing it for the first time from the non-diegetic point of view, not from the video, which is diegetic. This is how we're seeing like a painting of the actual mothership. So it's much clearer, or it's clearer, and it's very focused, very controlled, very much like a painting. James Cameron didn't do as much of that as Ridley Scott. Ridley Scott showed more of this kind of stuff. James Cameron stuck to more of a realistic approach to the whole film. And this is something Ridley Scott was able to do. Now, David Lynch probably knew a lot about this film, because Lynch would have been great on this one as opposed to Dune. But Dune had a lot of this kind of stuff, very much like a painting, which is a different type of sci-fi approach. It's real, but it's very much like a painting at times. Here's another angle of the ship covered in fog, the alien ship, which we're not introduced to any of these in the sequels. Not to this degree. Not like a painting like this, and very dreamlike. It's always presented in a very realistic way, why this looks like a painting to me. Very interesting, like a moving painting. One thing Alien did, and I'm going to show you here in a minute, what it did was it took advantage of sound in a very, very nice way. We're gonna listen to the sound and the music right here. Listen to how it sticks out, even under all the noise that's around in my place, but listen how they use the music. That was only about 5 to 6 to 7 seconds of music right there. Let's go back and look at it one more time. We're going to count to see how many seconds they use for the music. Just for the introduction. Only of the introduction. So we get a little bit of sound effects here. We're gonna count how long the music happens. Okay, we're gonna count how long the music happens for. About 5 seconds. Listen to the music. There's 2, 3 seconds of the music. There it is. Going into about 10 seconds. There's not even that. We're gonna listen for the music this time. Here we go. Let's wait. Wait. 1 second, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds, 6 seconds, 7, about 8 seconds. About 8 seconds of music right there. This is the first time we're introduced to the actual alien. The music changes. Look how intense it gets. So now we have a longer piece of the music going on for a while, and it has even a little climactic moment, and you can see the alien there for the first time. The music will hang on for a while. He's very, very good with music. That's what Ridley Scott is very good with. Lynch is too, but this is just an amazing image. Ash is like the acting medical doctor, and also an android. He's the guy right over there. John Hurt is laying on the medical table with the, I guess you call it an alien, you know, on his face. There's many names for the thing that hooks up to his face. A host, they've called it that. I've heard the name host. But it lays an egg inside of John Hurt's character, and then later at the table it protrudes through his chest and escapes into the ship. It's a pretty interesting little thing. 1979 sci-fi. Probably better than most sci-fis today by far. So Tom Skerritt plays Dallas. That's Ash. Segment right here, Tom Skerritt plays Dallas. Ash is played by Ian Holm. And John Hurt plays. Tom Skerritt plays a character called Dallas. Ian Holm plays the android known as Ash. John Hurt plays Kane, who's laying there with the host alien on his face, laying an egg inside him. All right, so that is known as the vector, and that takes them from the planet to the mothership. It's also used, a version of it is used in the James Cameron Aliens when the Marine Corps lands on the on a distant planet where the aliens are. This version, it takes, I don't know if all 7 of them are there. I think there's only 7 miners. space miners. They mine mineral ore, or what's known as mineral ore, in space. And they take that back to Earth, or they're trying to, but they come across this planet, which has the alien host, which eventually turns into an alien. Right, kitty? Look at that kitty. You're a good kitty, aren't you? Look at that kitty. All right, here's a moment where we have all 7 miners, space miners. So, Ash is the android, I think. Pretty sure Ash is the android. Right behind him, you can kind of see Harry Dean Stanton. He's another miner. They're like space miners. They mine ore. He plays Brett. There's Dallas, Tom. This is great because you can see all of them. So that's Ian Holmes, who plays Ash. Harry Dean Stanton plays Brett. It's Tom Skerritt. He plays Dallas. Sigourney Weaver plays Ripley. There's John Hurt. He plays Kane. And that's Parker. Here's another segment where they're all sitting, kind of like the Last Supper kind of thing. Before, of course, the alien protrudes from the chest cavity of Kane, played by John Hurt, right there. And you can see all 7 of them sitting around the table. Look at the design, the sci-fi design of the, I guess what you call, I don't know, the eatery or whatever, the place where they eat. They eat kind of like these grains and stuff. There's Ash, the medic, or he's really an android. Sigourney Weaver plays Ripley. Can't see him, he's in the back. It's Harry Dean Stanton, way in the back. Plays Brett. There's Parker, I can't remember that actor's name. Then there's John Hurt, right there. John Hurt plays Kane, who's infected right now with the alien. And then you have Tom Skerritt. You can't really see him, but he's over there. Plays Dallas. And then Lambert, right there. I gotta look up her name too. Her character's name is Lambert, but she's actually a pretty good actress. Yeah, the one that plays Lambert right here, Veronica Cartwright. Right, so at this point, the alien protruded through the chest cavity of Kane and killing him, pretty much tearing through his body and creating a hole in his chest. And he dies, and the alien runs off. Kind of looks at everybody and makes like a little and then runs off. Now they shoot Kane's body out into space, where it flips and flips and flips and goes way out in space really quick. I could see David Lynch probably being offered this. Now he was offered Dune, but this was given to Ridley Scott, another genius. So what's happened at this point is Harry Dean Stanton's character, Brett, introduces like a cattle prod thing as like a weapon. Also, the android, known as Ash, presents, or at least understands, this type of device that can pick up movement. So they split up into 2 teams and they go looking for the alien. One team has Sigourney Weaver's character on it, and her name is Ripley, which to me sounds a little like Ridley, but her name is Ripley. So it's Ripley's team, and I
believe the other one is the Harry Dean Stanton team.
So Brett, played by Harry Dean Stanton, who's passed away, rest in peace. David Lynch loves the guy. He's saying, "Here, Jonesy," that's the cat that he's looking for. This little orange tabby. And there's Jonesy. Right after Brett, or Harry Dean Stanton's character, finds Jonesy, the alien makes his appearance in full maturity, killing him in a horrible death. Hey David Lynch, how you doing? So it looks like in Aliens, there's a moment where they're always hiding in these caves and crevices, and this is kind of the slime the alien leaves behind, and then there's music that swells and the alien attacks. It goes on and on like this throughout the whole film to the very end, where Ripley gets cornered with Jonesy in an astronaut suit, and she's able to blow the airlock and the alien goes flying out. She's the last survivor. The rest of them all get killed, all 6 of them. And then Ripley's makes it at the end.
Dallas?
The tool too they use, it's like a device they use to find the alien. You can see the alien curled up, kind of like usually in like shadows and stuff. There's always warning that it's moving towards them. They use a device that's kind of like that. The alien screeches and Dallas is killed. You can see the alien right there. One aspect about Alien, there's the cat Jonesy and there's Ripley. It always ends with an alarm sounding over and over, and there's some type of mega destructive device of some sort. Like there's a countdown, and they only have so much time to escape it. In Aliens, plural, the sequel, it happens on the deck of the ship where she gets on into this like workers robot device that is like for construction workers or something, and she fights the alien. It's like this huge robot that she activates. And this one, she is the original. She programs the ship to self-destruct, and she has 10 minutes to escape, and the alien escapes with her on the escape pod. So she makes it off the mothership, and so does the alien. He sneaks into the escape pod, and then the final countdown, she shoots the alien out into space, and Jonesy and Ripley survive. Also, another thing is, I always thought Sigourney Weaver was one of the most beautiful actresses too. Also, just beautiful. Some actors are really, really sexy and stuff. I always thought she was just very beautiful because of her intelligence, and she was also just very engaged in the characters. Always just very in tune, and you just couldn't keep your eyes off of her. Of course, Sigourney's gotten older now, but I don't know. She just recently was in something, I think, or she's at least planning to. So I'll look up her career later. And that cat was so cute too. I don't think the cat's around anymore. Anyway, it's pretty cool.
there she is on the escape pod. There's Jonesy. Soon, she'll have to hide from the alien and then release an airlock, and the alien goes flying out in space. It tries to hang on to the ship for a little while, and finally it's released into the atmosphere, where it safely lands on a planet and gets a starring role into a sequel.